following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Put Me Over podcast, episode Y107. I'm your host, Andrew Gomez, a.k.a. The Mez, joined today by my lovely, wonderful, beautiful co-host. To my left, he is the 10th wonder of the world, the puncher of walls, Dickalicious himself, Richard Garcia.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? How y'all doing?
And also joining us, you know him, you love him, you might hate him. He is the most handsomest man alive, the COVID cutie, Byron Pagdalao.
Glad to be back, guys, on a Monday. Lovely Monday.
Also the Pinoy powerhouse. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. We're coming to you live recording on a Monday. And it's taken us a while to get to this show because, you know, with all the protests and everything going on in the world, it just, wrestling hasn't been like on the forefront of my thoughts or my attention. And, you know, there's just bigger things afoot in this world than, covering wrestling. How are you guys doing all this? Los Angeles has been a I don't want to say war zone, but it's got pretty crazy out there, especially the first week of all the protests and, you know, rioting and looting that went along with it. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, as we were watching the news, or as I was watching the news, I just hear "Burn It Down" by Seth Rollins' music the whole time. But like we said earlier, before, I think it's a given, and people should know that everyone on this podcast at least is in 100% support of Black Lives Matter. It's not even a question. Like, Black Lives Matter, Black
Absolutely.
Lives Matter. It's like It's insane. It's been like the perfect shitstorm of events, from the pandemic to people like the depression, the economic depression with people staying at home, and now we have, like, you know, what's always been around, which is the sickest shit ever, is, you know, all the racism and systematic racism that's been exposed, and the fucking bullshit police brutality. It's been a rough week. Like, I've had a lot of tough conversations with a lot of my friends, some cop friends, and like, yeah, coworkers. It's a weird time, and yeah, make no mistake again. Like, so no one gets it twisted. All of us here are fully in support of Black Lives Matter. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not even a question. It's not like a touchy subject for us. It's been that way for, I mean, going back to like when Colin Kaepernick was taking his knee, like, I knew it wasn't about, oh, he's disrespecting the flag by taking it. Like, no, the problem was a lot bigger than him just taking a knee and them taking it as, oh, he's just disrespecting the flag. Like, it was never about that. And I'm glad that, like, the NFL is finally coming around and being like, yeah, we fucked up. Players have a right to peaceful protest. How you doing, Dick?
Just taking it day by day. Right now we're, I believe, what is it, day 8 of the protest. At first, I mean, I can only speak for LA. The first couple of days were pretty hectic. From what we saw, news coverage, local news was 24/7, even online. You could see the looting. You saw really more of the looting, and of the rioters than really the protesters themselves. And then as the days went along, the protests it was, for the most part, they've been peaceful.
Now they've been great, yeah.
Now they've been peaceful. You really haven't heard any looting, especially in the LA area. First couple of days it was pretty bad, but as the days went on, there was none. Out in my area, we've had protests out in the San Gabriel Valley. That's where I'm living at. No looting. Everything's been peaceful. I've heard everyone telling me when I went to the protest, it was all peaceful. It was all love. No problems whatsoever. For those that did encounter problems at the protest, you know, my heart goes out to them. My heart goes out to those that are protesting. As a matter of fact, they're
while we're doing this, yeah,
they're absolutely exercising their First Amendment right to go out and assemble. I'm all for that.
And it shows you, like, the hypocrisy of, like, the people that were, you know, protesting because they didn't want to be inside and they wanted to get haircuts.
Right.
and that was them exercising their right to protest. And then when it comes to like bigger problems and like things that
Real
don't
problems.
concern them, they're the first ones to say that they shouldn't be out protesting, which I think is a crock of shit.
Such a big crock of shit. And it's 2020, and it's kind of crazy because all of us, I know for a fact, obviously, because we kind of grew up in the same area, we're lucky enough to grow up with like minorities and like people of color. So I don't think it's crazy to see that now, like, we're adults and we see a lot more people dealing like, larger scale. It still trips me out because we were never exposed to that as kids and like young adults, but now it's just fucking rampant. It's so insane, the racism that occurs, that a lot of us who are lucky were always blinded or like ignorant to. So it's bullshit.
Yeah, like if I get pulled over, I'm worried about getting a ticket. I'm not worried about having to have to deal with a guy pulling his gun on me because he just automatically thinks I'm suspicious because of the color of my skin.
Or just how I look. I mean, I've had encounters where I've gotten pulled over just because of how I looked, and luckily there wasn't a gun drawn on me, but just the first response is just based on your look, you fit the description, and it's not just with law enforcement as well. In my job, I've dealt with customers who are racist. As long as they hear that you have a Hispanic last name, they go off on you. It doesn't matter like if you speak Spanish or not, or speak English or not. It doesn't matter. They see you as a problem, and it's not just exclusive to Latinos. It's also exclusive to Asians, especially blacks. It happens to all of us, and this needs to stop. It absolutely has to stop at this point. I thought we were past that, but unfortunately we're not.
And you definitely are right. Fools gone wild looking fool, Dick, but for sure. Shout out to them.
It's just, I mean, I'm glad this light is being shined on something that people either didn't think was a big deal, but we literally are watching the worst of the worst. When you see peaceful protesters and then just cops standing there full on military riot gear, and they're literally just spraying people out of their car as they drive by. People that are just obviously being vocal, but not just doing anything wrong. They're just spraying, they're doing drive-by like mace things and pepper ball shootings. I've seen a video, and that's another thing. Like, social media has just like made this even bigger. Everyone has a camera in their pocket. And you see the best and the worst out there, and it's a lot of it's disheartening because I see people that are protesting police brutality getting brutalized by the police at a police protest.
And it's really more the militarization of the police force, and this has been going on for the past 7 years.
And I'm all for defunding the police department. There's no reason why the LAPD needs tanks, Yeah.
Like that's
and people think like when we say they need to be defunded, they think that, oh, well, then who's going to come to your house? Who's going to come to your house? They're not going to have any money. Like, no. I'm talking about taking their budget and going with a fine-tooth comb and deciding, okay, they don't need, tanks. They don't need all this stuff. Like, we can shave some of that off and give it back to the actual communities. There's
and that prevents crime itself.
Absolutely. When you give kids things to do after school, they're not going out and trying to get into trouble, or stuff like that. It's a trickle down thing,
Right.
It's not just like the police are out to get us. It's we're brought up in a certain way, and
we're systematic. It's total racism, because even after this week, I've been thinking about all my all my interactions with police, and every time I get pulled over, I would instantly become a cuck and be so soft and nice and what do you need, officer? Like really cuck out. And this shouldn't have to be the case. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Am I that big of a bitch to, like, I don't know. But yeah, it's ingrained in us, and that shit needs to change. It's crazy.
Hopefully this will be the tip of the iceberg and we can start really seeing some change. And as long as they keep protesting, a lot's happened since they started protesting.
So donate, protest, and all that stuff. Keep doing it. I know I just got paid extra, so I'm gonna start donating stuff tonight. However you want to help, whatever, support the cause, peeps.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And don't forget to vote.
Real quickly, shout out to those that are protesting. You guys are doing. You guys are exercising your First Amendment right to go out there.
God's work.
More power to you guys.
Yeah.
But like Byron said,
just remember, come November, remember how your politicians and people in power reacted to all this. Don't forget any of it, and put your vote to work come elections. And that's hopefully we can get this orange shit stain out of the White House sooner the better. Vince McMahon wants him there though, so. Oh man. Well, that was our piece.
That was hard, and this does reflect to us in the wrestling world because it seems like there's not only a unanimous support of Black Lives Matter, or rather in support of the protest, but it seems like the wrestlers they're generally on the side of reform and change. One tweet from Jackson Riker, I thought that was interesting, was that he was in full support of Donald Trump, and he used his catchphrase from his catchphrase as Jackson Riker himself. I'm not sure. I forgot what I don't have it on the top of my head as far as what he would say as far as his catchphrase goes, but
like never forgotten or something like that.
Yes, and Kevin Owens responded in a tweet saying, like, first of all, like he said, you have the right to whatever you want to say is fine, but the fact that you had to use your catchphrase to put yourself over in that is fucking bullshit. Like, essentially, he called out Riker on that, and he wasn't the only one, as even his teammates were kind of distancing themselves away from Jackson Riker.
Yeah, you had guys like Ali come out and say stuff. Ricochet. I didn't follow the whole story, but I know that he's not allowed to like say things and not get checked by the rest of the locker room. And we'll see what happens to the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah, because when I first saw that, I'm thinking this. I hope to God they're not using this as an angle, because that would just be that would be beyond tasteless. But then again, this is WWE we're talking about, so
yeah,
it looks like that may not be the case, and that really was Kevin Steen, the person, telling him, hey, that's pretty shitty. You're trying to play this into an angle.
Yeah. Shouts out to Keith Lee last night at the In Your House. We'll give our thoughts on that too. Rocking the Black Lives Matter on the trunk. I marked out big time for that. And then once I saw that, I knew he was going to be okay in that match. That was a match of the night too. Him and Gargano probably had a match of the night for sure. And with that said, let's just I don't think we have that much news other than current events.
I mean,
let's get into
the protests were taking over.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get into In Your House. That was last night. What did you guys think of the pay-per-view?
NXT hasn't had a bad pay-per-view. Again, this one probably didn't have as much steam because of current events and the pandemic, but I still thought they brought it. I think out of all the brands, I'm not just saying that because I'm a WWE homer, but I think NXT is overall best, brings the best package of shows by far.
Gonna disagree with you on that. I thought it was a good show. Definitely not better than Double or Nothing. Stadium. What?
Yeah, minus that last match. The last match is probably their savior, but as a whole card, like I was more sports entertained the whole time with NXT.
Okay, I mean, I'll give you whatever you think. Your opinion matters here, whether it's right or wrong. But the Stadium Stampede for me has been the best cinematic match out of all of them, and they tried to do it last night with Adam Cole and Ricochet or Velveteen Dream. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name right now. What did you guys think of that match? I thought I don't know. It was okay. I thought it was okay.
I agree. It was probably the most disappointing of most cinematic matches. That's not saying it's bad, just not the greatest. And 100%, to be honest, I was kind of disappointed in the finish. Like the result is what I mean.
Because there was so much that they could have done that I feel like they didn't do.
Right,
Um,
right.
They Adam Cole gets the win doing with the Panama Sunrise on the chairs that were brought into the ring. But yeah, it kind of just was like, oh, that's it. That was the finish. Okay. Dexter Loomis is still involved somehow. I'm not really sure what his deal is. They had him doing art on TV, which kind of confused me. I don't know what his gimmick is now. I thought I knew, like, oh, he's like Dexter from Dexter. Now,
And he's actually a pretty good artist, by the way.
Oh, is
like
it? Oh,
Because because WWE did release a clip online where they showed the extended cut of the interview they had last Wednesday on NXT, and he was actually drawing. He was actually drawing the entire way. It was they obviously fast framed it, but he did draw the entire sketch with him kidnapping the rest of Undisputed Era, which, by the way, they're still missing at this moment as of today.
he threw them in the trunk, and they're gone.
And they're gone.
Let me ask you this real quick. Did you guys want Velveteen to? What do you guys think of the result itself? You think it's time for Adam Cole to give that up, or you guys okay with him still running the show at NXT?
Before the match, I said I wanted Velveteen to win this match. I feel like he's been in NXT for so long. He's had some injuries, but they never really went all in, and like I thought they would probably go. Maybe his recent scandal got him in a little bit of hot water, and they didn't want to put the belt on him just yet. But I thought BLM was the perfect time to put the belt on him. But I guess they did that with Apollo Crews already, so that we can't have too many.
Keith Lee too.
Oh, and Keith Lee, yes,
That's
obviously.
The thing with Velveteen Dream is that he's been so cold lately ever since he came back. I don't know how he would be with the fans right now. I don't know if the fans would. I don't know if he would be necessarily hotter or colder. So if you were to put the belt on him right now, it probably would have been the best time because
he needs
there's
something.
No fans. There's no fans, so let's see what he can. Let's just go with it. With Adam Cole, he's had it for well over a year. I feel like it's time for him to move on. I think it's time. I think he should be at the main roster already. There's no point of him being in NXT for 2 years. He needs to be on the main roster. The question remains. No, go ahead.
If they want to compete, they got to keep guys down in NXT. If obviously they want to compete with AEW, they're going to have to keep guys down there longer. So I can see why they wouldn't be so quick. Matt Riddle was a guy that was kind of on the outside of the bubble, but you look at Undisputed Era, they're like the anchor for that whole show.
They've been there for the past 2 years.
So to
call
them out.
I feel like now's the time. They've been there for 2 years. They did everything they could. They've captured all the gold. It's time to move on. I mean, Adam Cole, to me, he's at his peak right now.
Who could take that place, though? That's a pretty big chunk of the roster you'd be taking out, especially during all this Corona stuff. We were supposed to get Finn Balor versus Walter for this, and
that's true.
That can't happen right now. He had to fight Damian Priest, and he actually had a pretty good match with him too.
Yeah, probably second best match of the night, to be honest.
Yeah, I would agree. But yeah, I think it's time for them to get called up. I'm just worried that they can't because they didn't really have anybody else, really.
Now, here's another thing. Maybe they're also at the same time. Maybe Dream is going to get called up, and he might go to the main roster.
That's what I was thinking. Why he probably lost last night is they're going to call him up. He can go to Raw. Riddle can go to SmackDown. Velveteen can go to Raw. I'm just worried. Look at the track record. Look at where's Ricochet been, dude?
Oh shit, he's been.
They haven't done anything with Ricochet.
Is he injured? I don't think I saw anything about him being injured.
I know him and Cedric Alexander were a tag team. They're still a tag team. But before that, they weren't really doing anything with Ricochet. And you figure, how can you mess up Ricochet? This guy's a natural babyface.
Yeah.
I mean, his moves, his work alone will get himself over, but they found a way.
I can imagine them doing that to Ricochet in AEW. I really couldn't.
My
I
thing
wonder
is,
though. Oh, go ahead.
my thing is like with Velveteen Dream, I don't think he's ready. Like he's not ready yet. He still needs more time. I think even having him win the NXT Championship, I don't think he's. I think have him hold the North American title for a little bit longer and then go after the NXT Championship. He benefits most in NXT. Give him that extra year or so. Because keep in mind, he was out for what, 4 or 5 months.
He's out for a while, yeah.
He was out for a good while. So the injury definitely delayed. It definitely offset whatever trajectory he was going to have. If the injury didn't happen, I'd say go ahead and call him up. But that set him back a few months. And I don't know. I mean, if they call him to the main roster, I have my doubts. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And then we got to talk about the main event. Io Shirai wins the NXT Women's Championship from Charlotte and Diarrhea. What did you guys think of that match?
It was a good ass match too. I mean,
I was
NXT
very sports entertained with that match also.
Good ending too. Wow, that finish was fantastic. Minus the ouchie, but like
I
it
felt
was
bad for Rhea's face.
Yeah, Rhea got it right in the face, dude. I felt bad for her once I saw it. I was like, oh shit. Ouch.
And she ate the pin.
ate the pin.
Yeah. That, I mean, seeing how they went with the NXT championship, with the men's championship first, made me realize that they're going to change Charlotte was going to drop the belt. But I didn't expect Io to win. I wasn't surprised, actually disappointed that Rhea ate the pin. I don't know.
Charlotte couldn't do it, obviously.
Yeah, no way. Yeah.
Woman Reigns doesn't lay down for nobody.
I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I don't know why they were thinking of having a triple threat match. I mean, it came out great, but what is the point of having Charlotte on there? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to build Rhea up? Because she has not been as hot as she was a few months ago.
No.
She was gone, right? Didn't she have visa issues or some shit?
It turned out.
It was rumored, but
it turned out that wasn't the case.
Fine. Yeah. I think Charlotte was there to pop a number, and it didn't really do that. Charlotte was on all three brands for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So she's been hardworking, but at the same time, I don't think it really did much for NXT to have her as a champion, because she just came and shit on everybody. She's like too OP.
It was more more harm than good, and not only that, like you put her on all three shows in a couple of weeks, she's getting overexposed. Like as if fans aren't tired of her. I mean, if fans aren't tired of her then, they'll be tired of her now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it did bring some awareness to the NXT Women's Championship, but she never defended it on any other show, right?
No, she didn't. I think she only defended it strictly on Raw. I mean, excuse me, on NXT.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see an NXT match on the main roster, you know?
I mean, aside from her and Asuka last week having the champion versus champion match, which by the way ended in a bullshit no contest. Well, actually no, it was a bullshit count out finish, I should say.
Yeah, it was a double count out, yeah.
It was it didn't even do anything for that. I mean, I would want to say I want to give them the benefit of the doubt to see what's the end goal right here, because there has to be an end goal. Charlotte needs to put someone over.
Not a chance, buddy.
I don't know. I don't see what the end goal is. But
this is woman Reigns we're talking about. All right, she don't lay down for nobody, dude. I seen a meme. It was like all the different versions of Charlotte. Like you had Lacey as military Charlotte, and then you had who was it? Dana Brooke as jobber Charlotte.
Wow.
Alexa Bliss was like pretty Charlotte. Like they had all the different blondes, but they were all different kinds of Charlottes. It was pretty funny. And then the last one was Roman Reigns as woman Charlotte, or man Charlotte.
Man Charlotte.
But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to be doing with Charlotte. I mean, I think she's great. I just don't think she doesn't do anything for anybody else but herself, and I feel like that's the problem. She, at least her dad, like would do the job to everybody. He might have he might have been the 16-time world champion, but he lost every other match he was ever in.
Exactly.
And that's
He made it a goal to make new stars out of the people he was in the ring with. Obviously, Sting, to a lesser extent, Lex Luger, Ricky Steamboat.
Yep.
I mean, even though Ricky Steamboat was already a star by the time he faced Flair, Terry Funk was already a legend before he faced Flair. Flair would either make you a star or he'll make you a legend. We haven't quite seen that yet with Charlotte. It's not her fault. It's just how she's booked in a way where like she can't lose, or that she has to be in the title picture every so often. I mean, hell, I was watching Raw. I'm actually watching Raw in the background, but they just did a triple threat tag match for the women's tag team championship with Charlotte and Asuka. The day after she loses the NXT championship, she's in a championship match.
That's so crazy, dude.
Figure.
Shouts out to all the Joshi wrestlers, though. You got Cheetah, Asuka, and now Io Shirai, all representing Joshi wrestling, and they're all champions in like their respective brands.
That's kind of insane, right?
That's so dope.
And how they're portrayed in a positive light as well. Like they're not doing the stereotypical Japanese gimmick that they did back in the 90s. They're being themselves and they're being over. I mean, even though Asuka, they're kind of doing a little exaggerated Japanese talking.
A little bit, yeah.
It's working for her.
I still have a problem with Kairi Sane coming out with an umbrella, but other than that, I'm fine with it. I mean, I'll take it over the steering wheel. Actually, I'd rather have the steering wheel than the traditional Japanese umbrella.
She needs to get insurance.
Yeah.
She needs health insurance.
Some Geico.
They think highly of Io, for sure, huh?
Of Io?
I never thought she was going to be that big. She got the confetti treatment last night. That's when you know you're legit.
Streamers. Yeah,
I wish it was a live audience. Like an actual fans, 10,000 people, that would have made it so much better.
Do you think they'd let the fans throw streamers in the ring?
Yeah, the Asian one.
Yeah,
they did. They did when it wasn't an NXT event, but it was the Beast in the East event back in 2015, where it was Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens, and they did like the whole streamers and the flowers as well at the end.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. What else happened on? The Gargano and Keith Lee match.
That was cool.
Big guy, little guy being the heel and trying to do everything he can to beat this monster. I like the throwback with the keys. I liked how much of an asshole Johnny Gargano was in this match.
And they had that cool spot where they used the ring cam on the door.
Johnny was trying to get it back in the house, and I must have missed his entrance because I didn't realize he came out of the house. So I was like, why is he trying to get back in through the front door? And it all made sense. All those vignettes they were shooting were inside that house, apparently.
That's so funny. And that finish was cool. That finishing move was legit.
What was the spirit bomb? Didn't put him away, but the
BBC did.
Yeah, that move is fucking dope, dude. And the BBC is a great name for it too. With the Big Bang Catastrophe.
Big Bang Catastrophe.
But we know what it really means.
Yeah. Come on.
We know what it means.
Keith Lee knows.
The BBC. That's my Morrow impression.
It was a great match. Maybe it might have gone a tad too long, but overall it was a good match. I would if you were to tell me between that match or the women's match or even Finn Balor and Damian Priest, I mean that was actually a very good match as well.
Yeah, one match that was short and didn't really do anything for me other than what they wanted to do was the Killer Cross Tommaso Ciampa match. I thought that match was super short, and I mean they're getting
it was perfect.
They're getting Ciampa. I mean they're getting Cross built up like a big heel. Ciampa really didn't get out of the gate in this match at all. What did you guys think of that one? I thought it was pretty short and sweet.
it's kind of a changing of the guard too. Both Ciampa and Gargano and Velveteen lost, like NXT staples. They all lost that night, and it's a new time, new era.
That's
I
very
guess that's
true.
one thing in your house accomplished for me at least.
What do you guys think of all the nostalgia and things that they were bringing back for this pay-per-view? I marked out every single time they did anything that reminded me of being a kid.
Oh, Todd Pettingale, he looks good for not being around for a while.
I missed the mullet.
Still,
The 900 number.
It still sounds the same. The way he conducts himself, I thought the WWE should do more with him. I mean, I'm not saying have him on every show, but like whenever they have like a retro event, definitely have him on there because the way he conducts himself, the way he carries himself on TV is, he's believable. And back then, you didn't really think like, oh, he just seemed like he's some kind of annoying. But you look back at it now, and you guys like, this guy was actually very good. He made you hype for a show. He made you want to purchase a pay-per-view and to watch it.
Yeah, and like his voice was like such like a radio DJ voice, but like he didn't talk it down to us at all. Like I feel like the company makes people do now, especially Michael Cole.
I've been a radio DJ for at least 30 years.
Oh,
in the New
really?
York area. Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's dope.
He's been on the airways for quite a while now.
And he looks good. It was the equivalent of like seeing like Mark Summers, just someone that puts a smile on my face.
Yes.
Right. That's the best fucking comparison by far.
Right? Okay, thank you.
Mark Summers for the win, for sure.
What do you guys think of Morrow? I feel like without Nigel, he was a little off his game. I feel like he didn't really he had a hard time putting his words together and his thoughts. He didn't have Nigel there to like pick up the slack. That
I didn't really look into it too much. I was just enthralled with some of these matches. So for me, that's a win. If I don't really notice how bad a commentators or if there's something missing, I find that as a win, I suppose.
Okay. Did you notice?
He's him and Nigel as a team, I thought were the best team in WWE as far as commentating goes.
I didn't put him up with anyone in AEW.
It sucks that Nigel is furloughed for now. Hopefully, when things start opening up again, he may end up coming back, and that's going to lead to another sets of questions as far as with other members of the rosters. What do you do? What's going to happen? If he comes back, that'd be great. If this is the end of Nigel and it's him and Tom Phillips, it's definitely not as good as as Nigel and Morrow.
Yeah, for sure. The opening match, I thought, left a lot to be desired. They didn't really build it up. They literally announced it on Wednesday. That was something I thought could have been like on the pre-show, especially because everyone in that match kind of had their own story going, especially with like Candice and Mia, Dakota and Tegan have their thing. And then Shotzi's just kind of there because Shotzi's awesome.
Get her out there, right?
But yeah, it was a weird opener. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty good show. Do you think WWE will do more of these nostalgia, bringing out the Ico Pro commercials and having Regal do the promotional consideration paid for by the following?
It is Laurel Hayes impersonation.
It was great. It was so good.
I liked it.
The WWE ice cream bars were back. I think they should make this a thing.
Fuck, I want one of those right now. I'm hungry. Shit,
Actually,
this is good.
they're pretty bomb. There's a gas station by my house that has them pretty regularly.
Oh, fuck.
And also shout out to Velveteen Dream for coming out dressed as Negan. I thought that was pretty sick.
Yeah, damn, he's so stylish.
That was
Dave
cool.
Chappelle Negan. This is what it reminded me of.
Yeah, overall that card was pretty damn good. Not the best again because of circumstances, I think, but it's a changing of the guard for NXT, and I hope that Velveteen goes to the main roster, like you guys said.
So thumbs up from everybody. I don't think I wouldn't give this a thumb down.
I've never given a takeover a thumbs down, and this is not a show that I'm giving a thumbs down to. So thumbs up for me.
You guys got anything else to add? I think we're pretty much done here. We can recap.
I think the main question is going to be, well, Adam Cole. Like I think we brushed on it earlier.
Maybe.
Do you see him, because his contract's going to expire next year?
Yeah.
And there was Road Dogg was on Corey Graves' podcast, and he did mention that Adam Cole is his favorite wrestler in WWE or NXT rather at the moment. And pretty much he flat out said if it wasn't for his height, he would be the main eventer. He would be the main champion. If you're Adam Cole, what do you like? What do you do? Like, do you use this as motivation to show everyone, hey, you know, I'm the top guy, whether or not I have the height or not? Do you feel like the NXT is your ceiling? Do you want to wait a year and then wait till your contract ends and perhaps go to AEW and join his friends and his girlfriend there? Like, what does Adam Cole's future look like? I mean, is it not as obvious as we think it is, or is it not really an issue?
I would love for Adam Cole to go to AEW. I can't imagine him going to the main roster, Vince looking at him and then looking at Braun and then thinking that they're anywhere close to being on the same level, even though Adam Cole is probably, if not the best, one of the best wrestlers in the whole company.
Right.
So I don't know.
Absolutely.
Unless you call up all of them, and then that's his way that he would get the title from Braun or another big guy like Roman Reigns or someone, you know.
Right. Like the way he conducts himself and the way he cuts promos, that's all on him. He didn't have to do a whole lot when he was at NXT, other than, you know, it was a traveling brand and they needed a top guy to be in that brand.
Yeah.
But his interview skills, the way he conducts himself, the way he wrestles, I mean, he check marks everything that you want in a professional wrestler.
He makes you feel like he's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
When a lot of wrestlers, I can't say make me feel like they're a big deal, you know. He carries himself very well.
I see him definitely a champion though, like WWE champion too. Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan at J status.
Yeah, Bret Hart. I could see that happening, but who's to say? I don't know. Vince has bungled a lot of guys. I mean, he's barely struggling to keep Aleister Black relevant.
Exactly.
And those are the two guys where like you can't fuck up these guys. There's no way that you can have two guys come up at the same time and you just bungle them. And here he is, Mr. Bungles. Shuts up, Mr. Bungle. But yeah, we'll see. SmackDown has new women's tag team champions in Bayley and Sasha. So we got Bayley 2 straps now. Interested to see where that's going.
I think she's actually fantastic. I think Bayley's probably one of the best performers right now. She's turned, I think it's perfect now. Like who she is as a character, like it's developed, and I'm 100% into Bayley right now.
Yeah, Bayley's been doing work on that.
You know what? I agree with you on that. At first I wasn't a big fan when she turned heel because it just seemed like she was unsure of herself, or there was something that was holding her back, or for whatever reason, it wasn't working. But now that she's gotten used to it, now she feels a lot more comfortable, and now we're seeing a new dynamic. I mean, we're going to see a heel Bayley, and then what appears to be like it could be a babyface Sasha, and they haven't done that story in NXT, so
they've been planting seeds.
They've been planting the seed for really what appears to be almost a year, because it's been a while, right?
Yeah, it has. And I think a lack of crowd has really let Bayley blossom into this heel character that she's become. And I just hope that when the crowd comes back, she's still gonna have that confidence to tell people to shut their mouths, you know, and be that big heel that she's been. She's been doing awesome. Do
you wait until you get a crowd, or do you? I mean, because SummerSlam's coming up. Obviously not. I think in 2 pay-per-views from now. I'm not sure if there's gonna be a pay-per-view in July. There's not gonna be a pay-per-view in July, right?
I hope not.
I don't think so. So in 2 months, I mean, do you pull the trigger? Originally SummerSlam was supposed to be in Boston. Don't know if it's going to be in Boston. We don't even know if there's going to be any people in attendance other than maybe whatever is other than the PC performers.
Which it's so bad the way that they make these people act like audience members. When they were chanting "Fall and Pray" during Killer Cross's entrance, I was cringing so hard. I don't know. You want to make it feel natural, and like they didn't sound like they were even into it. They felt like someone told them, "You need to say this when he comes out." I don't like how they're producing the people. At least AEW, the crowd, they're able to act like themselves, and have personalities. And you have these NXT, what do they call them? Performance training trainees, performance center trainees.
Interns, pretty much.
They had to stop SmackDown during an MVP promo because he referred to them as NXT superstars, and they said, "Cut! We need to do that again." MVP, they're called performance center trainees. I don't know. The overmanagement, overproduction is just really killer.
And also at the same time, they're taping back-to-back episodes. So one day they were there for 6 hours, and then they're there for 5 hours. So they were doing 12. They were cheering for like 12 hours, for 2 days or so. And then some of them were even on NXT wrestling as well. I mean, look at Shotzi. She was in the crowd for Raw.
Yeah, Aaliyah too.
And Aaliyah as well. And yeah, they had to go there Wednesday.
I just love the random cuts to The Rock's daughter, just randomly by herself.
Yeah.
We'll see. What they can do to like make things better. But for now, I think we'll put a pin in this episode. We'll see you guys back here Saturday. Maybe we'll do a live stream Saturday and catch up.
Friday night we'll see.
Or Friday, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully it becomes a little more positive compared to last week. But we'll see how all this goes. We just gotta take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
Keep the fight.
Keep the fight alive, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us, listening, downloading, telling your friends, neighbors. Make sure you tell them we are the new World Order Professional Podcasting and Black Lives Matter. We'll see you next week.
I didn't realize how dark my room got.
I'm starving. Yeah. I'm gonna go for ice cream. I'll hit you guys up later.
Yeah, I'm starving.
I'm gonna go for a run right now.
Get it, boy.
It's nice one.
All right. I'll see you guys.
Yeah. All right. Later.
Later.